my soul, it will shout, hallelujah. All is well, all is well, all is well, all is well, all is well with my soul, and I shout, hallelujah. All is well, all is well, all is well. Jesus speaks to my soul, it will shout, hallelujah. All is well, all is well, all is well.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I'm not even going to try to top that because when I sing, I move people to the exits. We want to welcome Dr. Clifton Clarke here, and I've just got a couple of minutes, but I want to tell three very, very short stories as part of this welcome. So the first part of this story starts many, many, many years ago in the city of Nottingham, England, where Clifton Clarke, those were the parts in which he grew up, but he went to school there at one of the theological colleges and had a professor there in Nottingham years and years and decades ago by the name of John Goldingay. Some of you might know that name, John Goldingay. And when I first got here to Fuller Seminary a few years ago, John pulled me aside one day and said, "Hey, what do you think about Clifton Clarke?" Well, I've been working with Clifton at Regent. That's the third story, but I'll come back to that in a second. And John Goldingay said, "What do you think about Clifton Clarke? Should we find a way to get Clifton Clarke here to Fuller Seminary?" So if you want to know who to blame for bringing Clifton Clarke to Fuller Seminary, his name is John Goldingay. Now I'll transition to my second story. When I was coming out of my grad program in the last century, actually, the end of the last century, I connected with another Fuller Seminary professor by the name of Veli-Matti Karkkainen. Some of you might know that name. And at that point in time, Veli-Matti was a bit of a senior professor to where I was, but he had written quite a few articles on Pentecostalism, mission, and theology. And I decided as a aspiring, coming out of grad school doctor, I suppose at the time, I said, "Veli-Matti, let me pull a number of these essays together into a book and let me publish it as the editor of the book with your name as the author." We did that. And a few years later, I read a very, very insightful book review of that book by a certain Clifton Clarke. I didn't know Clifton Clarke in person at the time, but I read the review. I was impressed by the review. I ended up connecting with him at some point, and we met for the first time in person at Duke University in 2008. It was at a conference of the Society for Pentecostal Studies. Regent University at the time was looking for a missiologist, and Clifton Clarke, from his post in Nottingham, had gone down to Ghana and done missionary work, had gotten a PhD. I recognized that name, and I said, "Why don't you send in an application to our position at Regent University?" He did. He got hired, became our missiologist. I worked with him for 6 years, I believe, and saw him get promotion as well as tenure at Regent University. And that leads us, of course, to this third story. I arrived here. John Goldingay and I had this conversation. We realized that there was a position open. We began to envision. And remember that Clifton had started out way back in Nottingham, United Kingdom. As a good Pentecostal guy, he thought he'd gone to the ends of the earth when he landed in Ghana, and where he did mission work for a decade. But God decided to expand the ends of the earth of his horizons and take him not just across a sea, the Mediterranean Sea, but across the whole ocean, across the Atlantic Ocean to Regent University. But that wasn't the ends of the world yet for Clifton Clarke, so he thought, at least at the point. He thought he'd really got, when you get to the American South, how much more further to the ends of the earth can you actually go, right? But God had some other plans for Clifton Clarke and said, "No, I want to take you actually across another continent. And I want to take you literally to the ends of the earth in Pasadena, California, where if you take one more step, you're actually going to fall into the Pacific Ocean, and you'll start drifting back toward the United Kingdom." That's how far it is to the ends of the earth that God has brought Clifton Clarke. we're very happy here at Fuller Seminary to welcome you, Clifton, and your wife, Marcia, who's also a doctor in her own right, to Fuller Seminary. And we believe, as a good Pentecostal guy, that you really have come now to the ends of the earth, that you've reached your Acts 28. And from this day forward, we welcome you to Acts 29. God bless you.
Thank you, God bless you, brother.
All right, and now we're going to have a brief presentation from Dr. Theological from Assemblymember Chris Holden's office.
Good morning, and thank you so much for allowing us to take a couple of moments to say welcome to Dr. Clarke and Marcia from Assemblymember Chris Holden. He's not here today because he is in New York as his daughter is graduating from NYU tomorrow. So, but they have already met, and we just want to say thank you for choosing us. Pasadena is a wonderful place to be, and Fuller is definitely part of our family, and so we're very grateful to be here. I would like to ask Dr. Clarke and Marcia if they would come up for a moment, please.